very smart, very mature. They're just as like,
Yeah.
they can be just as like how do you say, enigmatic? I don't know if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And then they can also be like very um inspiring as well. Like I've been like v like pleasantly surprised with the amount of maturity in what some people think would be like, oh, just an 18-year-old.
Right.
And that's kind of what reinforces that idea inside of me where it's like, we're not all so different. We're just lost. We're confused. I always come back to that same idea of, and it happens to me too. Like even as like solid as I think I am, I don't enact it.
Right.
Even me who's like so,
Tristana's
I
pretty
don't know.
fun middle. I'm not gonna lie.
Huh?
Tristana mid is kind of fun.
Tostada mid?
Tristana,
Tristana.
Tristana. I thought he said Tostana.
she just bullies
Tostada.
everybody.
You're a scumbag.
Hey, my friend told me to do this.
Your friend is not a good person.
Oh my.
Well, because I like going Caitlyn mid, and he's like, dude, Tristana's so much better mid. I was like, oh,
ADC any mid is uh, you're you're just a bad person. There's no helping you.
he was trying to teach me wave states and stuff like that.
Really,
Yeah,
relax, LeBaron. You're not even like that.
I know, but what if I want to be like that?
Well, it's too late. You're old.
Oh shit.
We're past our prime.
Were wave states a thing in Dota?
Actually, no, because we had denying.
Hmm.
Like you could actually deny creeps, and that's like a mind-blowing idea to League players, apparently.
So you're telling me you can take gold and experience from people?
Yeah, that's what you did in Dota. You would deny it, and then you could like you remember playing Invoker with this triple E and like
Yeah.
just nuking creeps
Until
at
they
the
changed
beginning.
it.
They changed it.
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless. So, what were we talking about? I can't remember.
We're old, but we're young to
Hey,
other adults.
relax, dude, relax.
I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah, we're like, so you said we were, I think we actually are in our prime. Like, it's downhill after this for sure. That's definitely when it hits downfall. Because I remember seeing like posts about like how your knees are not gonna work at 30.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've seen people fold,
I need those.
and we got 5 years left, guys. So it's now or never.
No, I got six. Not
6,
20.
wow.
Not 25 yet.
Bruh, I'm fresh 25. I just turned like 3 months ago, so
Is that really fresh though?
it definitely is. Watch your tone, lady.
Hmm.
I don't like how
Okay.
you said that.
Fresh it in a
I'm still
mouth.
young.
We're gonna be like 30 and we're like, oh, we're still young.
Yeah. So I saw a message that I sent to one of my friends, and it had already been 2 months ago. And I'm
Danny?
like, whoa, nah, somebody else. Y'all don't know him. And I just seen it, and I was like, wow, 2 months already, huh? I feel like it was just yesterday. I was messing around with this person.
Did you just
Yeah,
teleport?
time really does start to fly um as we grow. That's one thing I actually saw that was really interesting. Instead of
Yeah.
saying we're getting older, we just say as we grow.
Ooh, that is a nice little band-aid.
Yep, but it is a band-aid.
I can take it. That's much nicer. Cause with being older, it's kind of just like it's sad, and you don't want to set sad tones. And I
Right.
understand it can't always be positive, but like that's the whole idea of this podcast about like kindness. Like it's not about taking a side. It's more of just like looking at a side from afar and choosing to believe in it, like healthily, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because
Uh,
it's like it's a little bit of balance in it where, yeah, I know I can't always be happy, but I'll always believe in it instead of like grasping onto it and holding onto it and like falling later.
Oh my
It's
god, I'm having
like
an amazing time.
maybe it's a coping mechanism. Like maybe that's my coping mechanism.
I mean, probably.
But it might be a bad thing technically because I think that's why I'm so distant.
I feel
I'll
like
figure
you
out
say that
this.
with a lot of things you do, though. You're always like, this might be a bad thing. This might be a bad thing. But, like,
Well, yeah, because I don't want to take anything completely. That's, yeah. Does that make sense? Like, that's why I say that with a lot of things because I want to be careful and take a really close look at everything that I do. That way, I don't make any mistakes because that's the furthest thing that I want to do. I don't want to make mistakes because I know it's inevitable, but I'll try to prevent it as best as I can.
right.
Because we're talking podcast here. Like, this is where we share ideas and thoughts, and I don't want to be extreme in anything because, it can influence people, and I want to I want a healthy approach to everything that I say and or do.
Well, that is your intent, though, is to influence others to take this healthy approach. So I don't think there's anything wrong or truly
Hmm.
wrong with being, like, sort of extreme, but um,
Yeah,
you have your own prerogative. I have my own prerogative. So
and I want to hear yours because I don't think I've ever heard that
my
for sure.
prerogative?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? In what regards?
So like my idea is clear.
Hmm.
Now, what would you like to add to this?
I don't really know because I don't really talk to anybody else. I don't talk
Mm.
to my coworkers. I barely talk to well, I only have one IRL friend left here. Everyone else moved
Uh-huh.
away and I don't talk to them. I do text people on occasion, but
Yes.
um the talking that I do isn't isn't like this. It's
So it
very
doesn't sound like it's for you then. This
no,
sound because you mentioned everything other than yourself,
correct.
which I found strange.
Well, it's like I I am a recovering people pleaser.
Hmm.
Yes.
So I will do anything in my power to avoid conflict. I would do anything in my power to make everyone around me happy. I
Yes.
would um I would diminish myself to better others. So
Uh-huh.
in my relationships currently, that is my role, and I'm trying to break out of that role. And people aren't particularly liking it, and that's okay. I'm not going to be liked by everyone. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I've come to terms with that. But I want to start living my life for me because living my life for others has been terrible.
Well, duh.
Cause
I'm
like
sorry. I'm sorry.
no one, I won't say no one cares because people do care in their own ways, but
Yes.
no one's there for me like I am there for them.
And you see
So
how that's such an easy answer, but like we tend to forget sometimes.
yeah,
That's kind of like what I mean by all of us in general, because I think so. I want to be able to say this many, many times in the future.
Many men.
I
Many men,
I want people to
many, many,
understand
many, many men.
that I will always repeat this. I feel like this will be like one of my staples for this like little project is that I have been a very prideful person in being able to do anything. You guys have heard me say this, right?
right.
I've always thought like, oh yeah, I can do anything. And that's a cool thing. That's a special thing. But I've come to realize that's how everyone is.
Oh,
I've
everyone knows what?
I've seen countless times where people will be able to do the things that I was able to do, and sometimes even better, sometimes worse. But then with a little help, because I've always like, helped people like, hey, you gotta do this. Or, like I remember one time I went golfing, for example. I was exceptional. I was great. I was hitting like you guys ever been to Top Golf?
Yep.
No.
Yep.
You know the way back part where you like
Yeah.
land 70 points? I was hitting that constantly. And I was like, heck yeah, dude. I'm great at golf. I told you I was good at everything. But then my friends are up next and they do the same thing. And I'm like, oh, I'm not that special.
Ugh.
I unplugged my headphones. Okay.
Hey, man.
So so yeah. So they were able to do the same thing with a little bit of help. Now, at the rate of when I do it, it's definitely different, because I was able to do it instantly. They just had to take a couple practice swings and they were basically right there with me. And that's just golfing. Now, imagine Gage at Siege. I've always been exceptional, fantastic, but then there's LeBaron right there next to me,
Better
carrying
than
most of
you.
the time as well.
Now you admit it.
And it's,
Podcast brings out everybody's true feelings.
no, I've said this before to you. I've said this before to you. That was like the only game you're better than me at.
Rocket League,
Okay, I didn't invest as much time in Rocket League as you did. I just didn't find
RuneScape.
that's that wasn't even funny. Anyways, so yeah, I tend to notice that people are all just like me,
Mhm.
where they're able to do incredible, amazing things without having to care for it, without having to practice at it, without having to do all the things that I was prideful about. And yes, it humbled me, and I did take it a good way, because it's like, you know, I, I am happy for it. I like truly am happy for people. And I never cared being special anyways, because that's not my point. Because I would rather do it together than by myself.
Right.
So, like, for example, like, I'm trying to think, like, think of yourself, Kia. Like,
Mhm.
all it took was a little bit of a push, and now you're here
That was
conversating with
fun.
me about stuff that you would never talk about.
Mm.
You would, like, shut down and, like, just, and it's like, and you're probably even better at it as soon as you start talking more about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now think on a large scale. Everyone. And I know it's probably tough, but I look at people.
Many men.
Yeah, I look at
Many men.
many people. I look at many people. Cause
Works
like,
anywhere.
and it's funny, cause like, even if people are like usually like a little bit more annoying and take a little bit more patience to deal with, 10 times out of 10, I've never met a person that I've truly never wanted to be around.
Voice critical.
I just don't like his voice. I feel like if I hung out with the
Oh
guy,
shit, he's
he
calling
would
him
be
out
cool.
already. Steve, you're not
No,
big
no,
enough.
no, no.
You can't do that yet.
I'm just saying, dude. I think.
He's gonna
This is a
crush you.
clip, not a magazine.
Oh yeah, that's right. You absolute buffoon.
Baboon.
See, I can do his voice, dude. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I don't think it's his. Like, I just don't. Anyways, that's not the point. He's a great guy. He has the most monkey nuts on RuneScape. Like, I have to respect him.
Does he actually?
He does. He has the single most how do you say, he controls the market for monkey nuts, as he said. Like, I watched that.
Really?
And anybody who plays RuneScape is a friend of mine, because like that's just it's a childhood game. I relate very hard to it, even though it sucks, because I just fell off of this rope.
You can always get back on.
Nah.
No, you mess up the obstacle. I can't get back on. I'd have to go through the whole thing again. I fell off the rope.
Then do it.
Optimistic thinking though.
Yeah. Good stuff, Kia. Good stuff.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
Do you not realize the deep stuff you just said, man?
No,
Dang,
Man, oh man.
I'm
you
just
gotta hear
saying.
yourself more.
I'm just saying what, like, as the person who was the former people pleaser, what I have witnessed most is
Yes.
people giving up, and that's the thing
Ouch.
that makes me saddest. If it
Hey,
makes you
relax.
happy, if it makes you happy,
Yes.
never give up. Even if you're 75 years old. If you're still 75, you're still playing RuneScape, and it makes you happy, do it.
Baby.
Who gives a
Bro,
shit about
absolutely.
who gives a shit about what anyone else says? They're like, oh, you're too old to be playing video games. It's like, fuck off.
100%, dude. Cause like, but it is a little bit scary.
Hmm.
Um, wait, no, that probably doesn't correlate. But, cause like I remember I saw a video one time and it was like, you gotta do something to give yourself purpose in life. And it's like, well, agree to
You should get
disagree.
both of them, no?
That's what I'm saying. Like, agree to
Oh no,
disagree. Oh,
yeah, the
my bad. I thought
Ramus
you
was
were,
trying to 1 verse 2 in the background, and I'm
my bad. I thought you were adding to the conversation. That's my fault.
never.
That's a lie. You'll get caught up in it soon.
No, I put a picture in.
I know you want to participate, bro.
Man.
That's literally me. I have alexithymia.
Don't be shy to participate, LeBron.
Can't.
Say your piece too, because you were
I have
definitely
no
restrained.
feelings towards those types of things. No interest.
That is cap, bro. You're just so locked up that you're like terrified.
Nobody's
That's what I
terrified.
would say.
So
Absolutely.
you're afraid of him.
Oh my God.
I am him.
He is. The sauce is forever, but the juice is temporary.
No, dude, what?
Nar.
Nova Scova, man. Oh, there's so many people here. We
I
do not want this.
but going back,
Yes.
like, that's noticing people being afraid is what being afraid is something that pushes me forward. Like,
Yes.
I know or I assume I should be doing it if it makes me afraid, if it makes me uncomfortable, if it makes me scared.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
even
fear used in the right way, I'd say.
even some things like, oh man, I don't want to go to the city. I'm scared of city driving. And I just tell myself, I'm like, well, fuck it, no balls. And then I do it.
Yeah.
A-
Yeah.
And it's not the most helpful to like people with like anxiety,
Yeah,
like
I know.
crippling anxiety. But I think it's a start, like
And
pushing
you
yourself
also
with the
have to
small
mention,
things.
don't forget to mention that weren't you that person? Like, I'm pretty sure you were that person, though.
You were him?
I wasn't,
Timothy?
I
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
have crippling anxiety. I had crippling depression. There's a
Mm.
difference.
My bad. I didn't remember. Like, I genuinely didn't remember. Not what type, but if you were that person or not.
I was I was so apathetic about my life and my friendships that
Hmm.
I just didn't put anything into anything really because I didn't care if I lived or if I died.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like, and here's the crazy part. Like many people are
Man.
probably like that.
Absolutely.
So it's like, okay, well, because I know for one fact, sometimes I feel a little bit more ostracized than I actually am.
Why is that?
Uh, I don't know, cause like, dude, at work, I tried a very different approach from my last work.
Hmm.
Now, granted, they're like friends to me. I was able to genuinely say they're friends to me. Now, you guys, of course, it's a no-brainer. You guys are my friends, but we've built that over time. Like we got a lot of history. Those guys, I just worked with them. It's been like a year. We've had our ups and downs. But I so I was a person. I told you guys about it before, where I'm a pretty good worker. I'm pretty mindless about it. I know there's bigger things at work than to be upset or stressed about a work day. And I always try to like, instill that into them because like what they're stressed about is like very minor in compared to, bigger things. So the reason I feel ostracized is because
Oh,
they this is why I don't like compliments because they say things that kind of make me feel special and that sucks. And I know that sounds weird, but they'll be like, "Stevie, I appreciate your patience." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, man. It should be natural." Because they're getting upset over things like, like, "Oh my God, I have to bring this lady like four things to her table already," and I would just like do it, like
Mhm.
I would just do like Gage. Have you ever been to Target and you're like, this lady's like, like, oh, I want to sign up for Red Target Red, or can I get a pen?
oh yeah, we have complicated guests.
Okay, I don't see them as complicated. I've nenever seen anybody as complicated because once I get their stuff done that they request, 10 times out of 10, and I stress that like like I stress that
Heavily.
10 times out of 10, they were probably the nicest people.
Mhm.
I don't know. I got into it with the guests like yesterday, two
That
days ago.
that's probably because you snap back.
I did.
Like that's what I mean.
She was being an actual asshole.
Relax. People are going to be like that, but they're the easiest to work with, in my opinion, because
She told me
they
not to
know
do
what they
my.
want.
I wasn't in trouble afterwards because my manager was like, "You're doing your job. It doesn't matter." Because I instructed my coworker. I was like, "Hey, did she
Yeah.
pay for these on the bottom? Because it's on the bottom of her cart. You know where you put the waters and stuff?
Mhm.
It was on the bottom." And I was like, "Hey, did she buy this?" And then my coworker said, "Yes, she did buy those, but she did not buy the shoes. She did
Uh,
not like that I was asking my coworker like, "Hey, what's up with this?"
like
And
genuine
then she was
questions.
like, "You need to not do that." And I was like, "It's my
You
job."
need to leave.
I was like,
She was
I need
probably
to do
like,
it."
this guy needs to mind his own business.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have to do it. It's my job.
Yeah. I
And it's
mean,
like,
but there's still like I understand because like I've definitely dealt with that where people are being like completely
what was
unreasonable.
that, dude?
But like I'm able to like smooth things over because like I'm petty. I'm very very petty,
Hmm.
and I will get my point across, and you're not gonna win. Like, but instead of snapping, I'm just like, listen, I'm sorry. Like if it was me and the lady was trying to like jack some shoes, I'd be like, listen, like I'm really sorry that I'm like, you just tend to like not really kiss booty, but it's like it's smoothing things over in a way that's not what's the word? Combative or uh confrontational, Because again, you know, the lady's got her life. There's bigger things to look at. And I always think with that mind frame, that mindset where it's like that put your feet in another person's shoes kind of thing. Like what if she's struggling? Yeah, she might be jacking some shoes, but like, who hasn't jacked shoes? It's history.
I
The guest
haven't
who went
jacked
off on me.
shoes.
The guest who
Nick,
went on me. It's not her first time doing it either.
Oh, really?
I'm just the first
Okay.
person who like stood up.
So she's like a continuous offender.
Yeah,
All right, just call the police on that person. There's no helping
yeah.
it. And she's extreme. So how do you handle that? Well, you
Be
don't.
mean back.
No.
Send him to jail.
That's why your head looks like
Exactly.
a watermelon.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm like,
it,
what?
exactly. I need to go to the gym in a little bit. What's today? Monday. Eee. It's gonna be
um,
full today.
I disagree with you, Stevie.
About what?
I think the little things matter.
What do you mean?
Like the little things in your day. Like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, someone could be having a bad day, but does
Yes.
that give them the right to take it out on someone else?
Absolutely not.
So, I think, in my opinion, Gage was
Hmm.
justified in clapping back on this hoe.
I wasn't clapping
God.
back. I was just like, because I said like she was like, "Don't do that again," and I was like, "I'm gonna do it again."
Yeah. Yeah,
That-
that
I
that's
I was
think,
like,
that yeah. That's actually acceptable. Absolutely.
and then she was like, "You need to drop the attitude." I was like, "I'm doing my job."
Yeah. Yeah, if they don't like it, that's just there's nothing you can do about it because that's business, like there's no emotion in business. If they get emotional, that's their fault. But that's not the point we're trying to make here. That's just like a that's and that's not even being extreme when you say like that's an it is what it is kind of thing. Like that's applicable, you know? Because it's like, like why are you trying to steal some shoes? It is what it is. You can't let that affect you. That's not business. So that's what I would think, and that's how I go forward because that's why I don't snap back. Because if they're getting emotional, that's their problem. I'm simply stopping theft, you know? So I'm not gonna get upset about it. What would I get upset for? Even if they're being mean and they start saying disrespectful things or whatever approach they take, I'm gonna be cool because I'm stopping the theft. You go about your business. Have a nice day. But yes, go on. Why you think the little things matter?
I think the little things matter because they can accumulate into bigger things. Because I feel like some people, when they look at the bigger picture, they get lost. They don't
Hmm.
know what to do. It's overwhelming. So I think focusing on the little things, even if it's little things that will make your day better, like, oh, I pet my cat this morning. Oh, I brush my teeth. I take care of myself. Oh,
Yes.
and then you go bigger, like, oh, I went to work. I got money. I paid my bills. And then you get bigger. It's like, oh, I got some savings. I go to school. Um, I get a house or whatever
Yes.
you want to do.
What?
Oh
Nah,
my
I
For
know
God.
it's
what?
difficult. I know
I
it's a
didn't leave my
difficult
room.
skill, and I'm only calling it a skill because, I've not met many people with what I'm able to do. Because it's like I said, that's why I felt like ostracized. People think it's like a skill. And look at me, I'm
Wasn't
even
me.
calling it a skill. It's not a skill, and I think it should be average, where you
Check the
don't
camera.
you don't
Sorry.
let little things accumulate like that. And I know you're like, what? That doesn't make sense. Like, how do you do that? It's like, well, and it's not just the bigger picture. Like, like I remember I was talking to this one girl, how she did like a beans system where she would have like a total of 50 beans for the day. Now, talking to people was minus 10. D like I don't know what else. Going to a restaurant minus 10. Taking out the trash minus 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when they were out of beans, it was time for a refresher. So like stay at home, take a shower, skincare routine, this and that. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's a cool way that someone handles it.
Mhm.
But you know what I said in response to that?
What?
I have unlimited beans.
Mhm.
Is that weird?
No.
I don't think I've ever run out of beans. Well, actually,
I think currently you're out of mental beans.
yeah, I think I am.
I think you didn't ration your beans and now you're out of beans.
I'm unaware of how many beans I got. I I'm unaware of the amount of beans I carry, but I carry an extensive amount, that's for sure,
Right.
because I have a lot of tolerance. I have a lot of patience, and I've built that over time. And that's why even my ideas of like kindness is a little bit extreme because maybe I built with what others didn't have time to build,
Mhm.
you know? Because I've been given a lot of free time. I've been given a lot of I've been blessed to be able to think, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so I know it sucks to tell people, but it's not like I'm any different from everyone else, you know? I've been to school, I've been to work, I finished high school. I did everything a normal person can do, and I still found the time because you're in your head rent free. There's no time you can escape your mind. Even when I play games, I'm always like, well, MOBA games, I'm not the greatest, but you know, when I'm playing games, I'm thinking like, okay, how do I, like I just think. I always think. It's always running, it's always crossing my mind. And I have stresses too, like I'm thinking about a car, I'm thinking about the future, I'm thinking about how to bring people together and just like have a good time in life because, it's like when I was looking outside today, I'm not going to have that many springs to enjoy. And I'm ashamed sometimes when I don't walk outside. I'm sitting in here, looking at a computer screen, which, it is beautiful, but there's nothing better than the natural world because that's essentially where we're most inspired. That's where we take most of our inspiration from when it comes to imagination. Like, look at the movie Avatar. Where did most of those shapes take place? You got like, sure, they mixed like whales with like, I don't know, birds, but they're still whales and birds. Does that make sense?
Right.
Where did all that luscious greenery come from? Well, hello, planet Earth. And try as we might, there's nothing inspiring like the good old outside. So, what do I mean by there's bigger things? That. That is what I mean.
Hmm.
Take that abstract idea with you as you will,
Um, I still disagree,
which is awesome.
but I understand where you're coming from. And I too hate that I stay in my house. I
Yeah,
too feel like I'm, well,
taking
I don't,
advantage of life, almost. That's my
I
opinion.
want
I'm sorry.
I want to appreciate life more because when I do go outside, even if it's just sitting on the porch in the sunshine, I feel
Yep.
wonderful. So I should do things like that more often,
Sorry,
but
I
I
like. I,
Yeah,
I consider that like a small thing.
that's huge. No, that's maybe now I am gonna be a little bit extreme. Take it with a grain of salt.
Mhm.
This is what I mean by uh, that's not a small thing. It's not. That is a huge thing. And I'm not gonna be that type of person where it's like, oh, well, there's people out in the world that don't get to enjoy sitting out in the porch on the sun. Because that's like really, that doesn't get us anywhere. That does nothing for nobody. But we most definitely are taking advantage. We're very complacent in terms with what we have.
Right.
And so that also gives me strength. And that is huge because it's a never ending source because we have so much of it. We just need to realize it. We need to not be confused. We need to appreciate things that are huge in our lives, which is, you know, because who's to say, man? Like, you know how much God, you know?
Mhm.
Like, there's, so when a star is destroyed, it releases a quasar. Have you ever heard about quasars?
Yeah.
Okay, I know this is a little bit like, whoa, like a little crazy people talk, but quasars travel at insane speeds and they cut through the universe like butter. Who's to say a star out there isn't burning up
And
and
blasting right
tomorrow
towards us.
that thing could just fried? Ah! we're toast. You know, like
Right.
who is to say? And that's like a natural disaster beyond human imagination. And I know I'm talking like Neil deGrasse Tyson right now. If that's his name, I apologize if that's not.
It is his name.
But I like him. I like him. You know, and I think yes, that kind of like you know gives me a sort of weird standpoint. But that's kind of like where my strength comes from, because like it's very dramatic, and I like that because I want to appreciate the sun in a dramatic way because it is the perfect distance away from the planet Earth to give all this beautiful life and all of our inspiration and blah 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 blah.
I had
And I
another, or go ahead.
no, I'm done. I'm done. Please go. Please.
I
I'm running
had
out of breath
another
here.
thing. Um, I remember you mentioning that you said you're not special. Now, I want to dive into the idea, what is so wrong with feeling like you are special on this planet?
Because I don't want I don't want to separate myself from others.
Why?
It's like celebrities. I saw this video about Chris Brown. He grabbed a woman from the crowd, grinded on her, and her boyfriend dumped her because that was wrong, according to him. Now, I saw a particular comment that kind of like struck me as I was reading it, and it said, "Yes, Chris Brown is a celebrity, but he is a human being just like anybody else. The fact that we put this man on a pedestal does not give him the right to take some female from the crowd and disrespect a man's woman." Now, I completely agreed with that in terms of what it means to be quote unquote special. You are not special, no matter. I'm sorry. Why would you want to be? Because people will treat you different. I don't want to be treated different. Do you want to be treated different? Because if you do, that's totally fine too. But
The
for me
thing
personally, I do not.
the thing is, I think that everyone is special. And I know you're probably going to say,
Exactly.
I know you're going to probably say, well, if everyone's special, no one's special. But
No, no, no.
everyone
Everyone is special.
everyone already treats everyone differently, whether that
Mm,
be based on, like, oh, personally I don't like her because of things she does,
and
or
that's our fault.
whether it's because, oh, I really enjoy them, so I'll treat them differently than I treat my acquaintances who are not as close to me. Everyone already treats everyone differently because everyone is different.
Hmm.
Everyone is unique, in my opinion.
And that is totally true. I do get you. But I think we take it to extremes, like such as, celebrities. Like have you ever seen that Toby Maguire clip where photographers are literally blocking his way because they're just taking pictures of him and he gets all upset and then everyone's like, "Oh, Toby Maguire's a bad person."
Yeah,
That's kind of like that too, like that's totally unfair. Yes, it's fine to appreciate, but think of my idea of kindness, what I want to instill in people. Like appreciate from afar away. Don't be extreme and taking pictures of the guy and getting in his way and like even Eminem. Have you ever heard that one song where he's like, "I can't even take a poop in the bathroom without someone standing by it." Like those were his literal lyrics.
dang.
And look at Billie Eilish, and I know I'm saying celebrities, but like, they're special people, Tom Tom Brady, look at Tom Brady, they're
Hmm.
not going to give him his space. They're not going to treat him like a human being. They're going to treat him like and that's our fault. So, yes, we're special. Yes, Tom Brady is an amazing NFL player. Yes, Chris Brown, Billie Eilish, Tom Neil deGrason, they're special people. Like, they're awesome. They're amazing. But we need to balance it out. That's what I would say. That's what I would think. Because I'm giving both they're exceptional at their respective professions,
Right.
but I'm not crazy enough to blow it out of proportion and treat them different, even if it's true that they, you know, because above all, That's my idea. That is what that's my idea.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be yours.
No.
I'm just saying it because like, of course I agree that you're special here. Like, you know, you're an amazing person, but I'm not gonna be like, like treating you different than other people
Right.
because, you got I don't know, like you're the best RuneScape player or something, you know?
Hmm.
I'll
No.
be like, yo, this is my homie. We've worked a lot together. We've done a lot,
No, I
done
get
good
you.
things. So definitely expand on your topics though, because you could potentially don't let me overpower anything. Like I know your opinion is just as strong. So talk about it.
I was thinking maybe we could take a little break and continue tonight
Yeah.
because dinner is ready and you also have to go to the gym and also I'm getting tired.
All right. Sounds good.